Hello everybody, welcome back to part 4, the final part of my 4-part food organization series. I have been so disorganized with everything since kind of the pandemic hit, and the last thing to get organized is my pantry, my spice cupboard, and my bread storage and that. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys. I have a pantry that works really good, and then I kind of had an extra area that was kind of working, and then the pandemic hit, and then I needed a place to kind of have extra food storage. Since the pandemic's hit, I just don't feel like I need like 3 months worth of food, you know, maybe a month, a couple of weeks and that, but I'm able to go out and do what I need to do, and that's everybody's, you know, own personal opinion, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. But I do know for myself that seeing what I have works for me, and bins and baskets do not help me. So I'll explain a little bit of that as I go. I'll give you guys the original look, and then I'll kind of take you guys step by step to get my pantry and extra food area organized. So let's get started. The first part of my pantry that I want to get organized is my spices. I have tried so many different things with my spices. This cupboard really works above my stove. I know people have given me feedback about it. It's what works for me. The way that my kitchen is laid out, it's the best place. But like this bin, every time I'm looking for a spice, I have to pull it out and look for it. I have big containers, some I use often, some I don't use that often. And then up there is where I kept certain dishes. And I've decluttered a bit in my kitchen. I'm still working on it. That's a whole other video. But I've made the decision that I'm going to take that space up there and make it work with my spices, because I know in the long run it's going to really help me. So I have a vision of what I want to do, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it and then show you guys the finished product. What I came up with is a perfect example of using what you have and making it work. I don't have a lot of drawers like to make a spice drawer. I don't have a lot of counter space to put a spice rack on there. I've tried the shelves, I've tried the glass bottles, like filling them up and purchasing them. It was more work. And this is what I decided to go with. I'm a visual, I like to see everything. So up top I put all of my smaller spices. I tried to alphabetize them. I got rid of the ones that I hardly ever used or bought for a recipe and never really used it. You can work around with spices and play around with different flavors and that, but some you need to have. And in the little basket, I didn't really want to go that route, but I really couldn't figure out anything else because I have some bag stuff like chives and my sesame seeds, and then I put baking stuff in there, so ginger, and I'm really happy with it. And then down at the bottom I did like my bigger spices and the ones that I use more often. So I have a couple of them in the back that I don't use very often, but I know where they are. I put the onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper all to the right because I use them on a regular basis, and then I have a couple of extra peppers in the back, so I just put them behind there. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm really happy with it. I feel like it's visual, it's easy to put the spices away, and when I open it up I can actually see what I have and grab it. This is another great example of just figuring things out on your own. This is the cupboard beside my stove. Usually we keep like medications and cold stuff, but I started storing bread in here, and it works really good because in the morning we usually have coffee and toast for breakfast, and I make a sandwich for my son every day. And when I put it in my bread box, I just kept forgetting about it, or, you know, stuff would get forgotten. It would be moldy. So once I open bread, this is where I put it, and the peanut butter, and it's worked. I do have a bread box. This was actually a wedding gift. It is over 22 years old. I absolutely love it. But we used to keep it on our cupboard, which kind of worked, but then, you know, we have new appliances and that. And what I do here now is when I do get groceries, I put all the bread that has not been opened, I put it in here, and then I put like some snacks. This is pancake mix. I didn't really know where to put it, so I feel like it fits there. So I don't want to part with this, but I do feel like it still serves a purpose. So this is like my main pantry, and I was trying to keep all of my food in here before the pandemic started. I have a whole vlog video I will link down below how I started to get organized with it. Some of it works and some of it doesn't. This shelf here works really good when I don't have stuff in front of it. So I keep all-purpose flour, white sugar, and whole wheat flour. I really, really like it because I take them out and they just fit really good. This one works, but I have stuff in here that I have not used. I never use coconut. Those hemp hearts have been there forever. These are dried blueberries my husband wanted for oatmeal, and they haven't, I don't even remember buying them. Breadcrumbs, mini chocolate chips, pecans, walnuts, and then those are raisins I use. This was something I used to keep all like extra stuff kind of in a bin. That didn't work, so I put them in here. Then I keep my baking stuff here. I don't use molasses. I was gonna make ginger cookies and I never did. So this part works, but I want to change it around a little bit. Now this part up here was not working. The containers were too big. I had stuff in there when I did it. I bought at Costco that I don't buy anymore. So I don't want to get rid of these containers. All of the stuff in there was stale. I don't remember when I purchased it, so I composted it. I'm going to wash these all out and then put them somewhere in my garage. And in, you know, 2-3 months, if I'm not using them, I'm going to donate them. This one here works pretty good too. Brown sugar, shake and bake, oatmeal. I put all of my different packages of rice in there. Sometimes I use jasmine. I have quinoa, brown. Penne pasta is kind of our go-to pasta, so I always keep that. And then rolled oats, and then my husband keeps his tea here. So down where the pasta is, I used to keep a bin in there and I just shoved crap in it. I never knew what was in it. And then we rescued a dog last year and he's been getting into cupboards. Yes, Hunter, I will get you some water. And this is the Monica closet of food storage. I was doing really good until the pandemic hit, and then the pandemic hit and, you know, we were buying extra. We wanted to make sure we didn't run out in case something happened we couldn't go or we had to quarantine. I just kept buying stuff and shoving it in here. Up there was a system that never worked. These bins, that one is like extra stuff that I never use. That one is full of like gift bags and tissue paper and it shouldn't be in there. And this is just random stuff that kind of made its way up there. Here is where like cereal is here. I didn't even realize I had Raisin Bran because everything is kind of shoved in there. I cannot see it and it doesn't work. Look at that. Here's a bin. I have no idea what's in it because all of my extra baking stuff got shoved on there. Here's a random bag full of crap that just gets shoved in here. That is my air fryer on the floor. I want to move it up here so it's easy to put in and out and we're not bending over and piling stuff on it. That is more canned stuff. I've been working my way through it and want to switch it over to my first pantry. And then down there was a bin of condiments that I never knew what was in it because something was always in front of it. So I want to make that work. I want to clean all of that out. This is a system that actually works really good for me, these two plastic drawers. I like them because you can pull them out and see what's in there. One of the things I've kind of been debating on is whether Costco is worth my while. It's not close to me, and I find lots of times we just buy stuff and then it's so big, and because we don't go that often we buy a lot, and then I feel like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have bought that, and you're trying to deal with it. K-cups, and then we keep our dog food and other little things in here. So this is the before. I just kind of shared. None of this is working, but this is working. So this is the before, and I'll start doing it, and then I'll kind of show you my vision and then the final product. Okay, so my washer and dryer right beside kind of my food cupboard. So I have stuff here. I'm making progress. I'm just getting everything cleaned out. I also don't believe in pulling everything out and starting with a clean slate. I've done that. You get halfway through a project, you get a phone call, something happens and you don't get done with it, and then you shove everything back in. So I'm not doing that. I'm doing it gradually. So the first thing I did was I took out those baskets, and now I can see exactly what I have. There's some mixes that I have to use. That I should use. They've been there for a little bit. I bought them kind of during the pandemic, didn't use them. Minute rice, pasta, they're kind of open, but I don't really have anywhere to store them. And then I have like little things, like a cake mix. I always like to have one cake mix. There's a brownie mix, pasta, ice cream cones. You know when you pick up extras, so then when I see stuff starting to go down on this, I'll kind of figure it out. And that's one of the things with your pantry, is it always has to be evolving because you grocery shop every week. So you really kind of have to reevaluate it almost every time you do groceries or empty something, and come up with a system that you can actually see what you have, because it makes grocery shopping that much easier. And if you're running low on something and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm all out of pasta sauce, maybe I should pick up 2 or 4 jars instead of none. So that's kind of the way that I think whenever I organize all of this. Here is my pantry. That is what it looks like this week. There's some things I like about it, some things I don't. I'm happy about that, so at least I know where like snack stuff is, and just for Andrew to have more independence to pick his own things. And same with my husband too. He'd be like, what kind of cereal is this? So some things work and some things don't, because sometimes you have to think of other people in your home too when they go to put stuff away. This, I changed some things up. There's things I use on a regular basis and some things I don't. And I always had a hard time with my baking powder and baking soda because one would be stacked on top of the other. I like my spices there. We use sugar cubes for our coffee, so every time I went to get sugar, I had to take out the big container. So I just put this little one up here. I think this will work whenever I'm baking. Oftentimes when I'm making like a stir fry sauce, it'll call for like 1 tablespoon of sugar, and in my pizza sauce or my pizza dough it also uses 1 teaspoon. So that's something I was really wanting. Cornstarch is here, and then back there I have like extra baking soda, cocoa. I don't use frosting that often, but I always like to have a can of frosting and a cake mix, just, you know, in case you feel like making a cake or something like that. Vanilla I like to keep here too. So flour. This system here works really good. These are things I use on a regular basis. So I'm happy with that. This one I didn't have to do anything with. My husband drinks tea, I don't, so he likes to have a little bit of a variety. And then these 2 areas here, they're gonna kind of change all of the time. Right now I have a lot of canned products that I don't use on a regular basis. Like I have lots of soups. We don't eat a lot of soup, and tomato soup. I don't even know why I had a tomato soup. I think I was going to make stuffed peppers and never did. So I might find some Campbell's soup recipes. That's a really great place to look to. And just in case, you know, I have pasta and rice and stuff, you can make casseroles. I have ground beef, and I think it's more the emergency part of it. So I have to kind of think about that and come up with something about what I actually want to have and figure out. So, but if something happened, we'd be good for a while with the dried pasta, the rice, and, you know, everything else. And then this here is where I'm trying to keep like condiments, oils, syrup, like canned pumpkin, canned gravies and stuff. Just, you know, sometimes you like that kind of stuff, and I like it that I can visually see what's here. So it's a work in progress, things will move around, some things will stay the same, but those 2 shelves there will kind of always be changing, which I'm really happy about. But I just kind of needed to get it a little bit more organized, but it's hard to do when you have more canned stuff than what you need. And I have a lot of beans in that, which I don't really use a lot. So I just have to come up with a soup or make some like black bean burgers, and come up with something to use them so I don't let them go to waste. And then this spot here feels absolutely amazing. Just looking at it, like I don't feel overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, I have 3 bags of sugar, I have extra oatmeal, I have extra flour. So those 2 bottom shelves are gonna kind of switch around too. I'm gonna put the empty containers that I have, these mainstay ones, because I think some things could possibly change depending on what I use in case any of them break. This was kind of a bin where I didn't really know there's like beans and cornmeal and that, and I think it's still good to have a catch-all bin, but you have to make sure that you go through it every once in a while. And then down here I had a bin that I forgot about, and it was all stuff like from my Instant Pot and my air fryer and that I never used because it was all blocked up. And then I still have room there, and I just keep my vinegar there, and we have like adult stuff there that we don't use very often. So I'm really, really happy with that. Up here is dog treats. This one's a little bit too big. So I just had to move that. I didn't want it to fall down. So all of the little dog treats are up here. This is where I like to keep like extra treats, and then they have their cookie jars. Yeah, we have dogs. We love them. They're spoiled. This is like all the single serve stuff that I'm trying to get away with, but I still feel like it's important to have some stuff like that. This drawer here, I kind of put all of like my easy mixes. because we like to do stuff with our son, and it's really nice to have like extra cookies. I'm gonna make like Valentine's cookies with him, and he's gonna help me decorate. So it's just kind of nice to have a place where everything's in here, and I can kind of look to see, oh, there's muffins, there's cookies, there's biscuit mix. Here is our Starbucks K-Cups that I like. So I know, I'm like, oh, our K-Cups are getting pretty low. And then we keep a canister beside our Keurig to kind of like use them every day, and then we fill it up as it runs down. This is empty. I have room to put something there. I just put popcorn in here for now. Something we like to have every once in a while. This is all baking stuff. I should take these marshmallows out because I bought these for Christmas to make Rice Krispie squares, and I never did. But I'm actually gonna leave it there because I don't want to put it on the air fryer. I just have like craisins, chocolate chips and stuff, which is kind of nice just to kind of have a place to put it. But I find instead of a bin, it's kind of easier to see in the drawer. So, and then this one here is empty, and then down there is where we kind of keep dog stuff. So it's organized, but I think the thing that's most important, it's set up to always change to how you grocery shop, how you sales shop in case an emergency comes up. And you know, it's a process. You're not going to get your pantry nailed the first time, and I think that is why I see so many people not having success with their pantry, because they buy all these cute bins, they put stuff in it, and you just don't know where to put stuff. So now when I come home with my groceries, I used to hate putting my groceries away, and now I can't wait to go grocery shopping because everything has a place and I know exactly what I have. So one more little area I want to show you guys. So this is the first area. This is where we keep the K-Cups up here. We just kind of fill them up when it's getting close, and we just put a variety in. And then this is where we keep our sugar cubes. We like using sugar cubes for our coffee. We just find it's just easier to measure it out. And that is where we keep that for our coffee. And then for this one here, this is our Nespresso. So in this one I have coffee, but these are the ones I buy at Winners. You get 10 of them for $5. I usually use these whenever I go to make a latte in that. And then in the smaller one that says enjoy, this is where I put the Starbucks ones. So these are the ones that my husband likes. There's some holiday blend in here, so I definitely need to get some more for him. But I like to keep the Starbucks separate from the other ones just because I kind of use these ones, and then my husband likes the Starbucks ones. And this is the last space where I kind of keep food. This is like my leftover containers, snack containers, measuring containers, Pyrex containers. And I go ahead and just pack up single serve snack containers for lunches. If our son wants something, he comes in here and just grabs it. It's all measured out for him. And then I also keep the juice boxes here. So I definitely know I need to pick up one more for next week. And then I have pretzels, and I could put some of the stuff up in the bread box, and I have other things. So I know I'm good kind of for snacks this week, but definitely next week I'll need to replenish everything. That is my pantry organization. It feels really good. It does feel really good. I have tried to organize it for years and years and years, and finally I figured out a system that worked for me, but it just kind of got away from me, and some bins did not work, and I don't know, I feel I'm a visual person. I like to see everything when I open up my pantry. I like to see exactly what I have. But then some things containers work and sometimes baskets work. You just have to kind of figure out what works for you. And you know, sometimes it's really discouraging when you watch videos, and you know, it's kind of the organizational part of it, but it's not really the aftermath of it. And I think that's one of the things when you look on Pinterest and you look on Instagram, you see like perfection, and sometimes you're striving for that, but it's never reality. Like, it isn't. And I always like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I think what happened was I finally am like, I need to come up with my own system. And I have smaller spaces, so baskets and bins don't really work for me because I can't see what's inside them. I think it'd be different if I had a walk-in like pantry that I could actually see stuff, and you know, I had different racks and that, but this is what works for me. I'm very visual. I like to see what I have, and it feels really good. Now, obviously, things are gonna change because they always do. winter is going to be different than summer. You know, sometimes you go on a kick and you're like making casseroles, and sometimes you're making soup. So, you know, all of that stuff changes, and that's just kind of the way life is. So it feels really good to have like my spices organized. I know where my bread, my coffee, snacks for school. It works for me, and I really find when the pantry is kind of organized, everything else kind of comes together. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. This is the last of my 4-part series on food organization, and I'm really glad that I did it. I just feel so much more organized with everything, and I can't wait. So if you enjoyed this series and you're new, please subscribe. I can't wait to do more food prep videos for you guys, meal planning, maybe some different challenges, some new recipes, all sorts of different things. I'm ready to change it up and try different things, but then maybe once a month or every so often kind of go back to kind of the basics and that. So we'll kind of see, but grocery hauls is something everybody loves, so I'll try and share them as much as I can, and I'm just kind of figuring out what system works for me. And the big thing is, some weeks one thing works and another week something else works, and you just have to kind of keep like maneuvering. But I honestly feel if you take like a little bit of time every time you do your groceries, it makes a difference. And now I can't wait to go grocery shopping, get what I need, and everything has its place. So thanks for watching, everybody. I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Take care, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.